So Matt Walsh did a really interesting episode on some of the horrific abuse and fraud that is taking place on the EBT programs. He showed how people are hawking it off, selling it, buying a lot of stuff they don't need and selling it. He showed how some people are getting thousands of dollars a month. Some people are earning for jobs a year just on EBT. He showed about how a third of people on EBT are overweight and obese. I mean, so just how is it possible that government has wrecked the system of welfare so poorly? I mean, the idea of welfare, the promise of welfare was when something like this. Why should we distribute charity all around? The government would just do charity for you, will take your taxes and be more efficient in distributing it. So EBT and all these programs were supposed to replace charity. And not only that, there's like other food programs, that's just like they have WIC, which is supposed to see to food insecurity. So why are people so insecure about food if they have all this EBT? What is going on with all these nutrition programs, which provide almost no nutrition? Just how the people on these programs just feel like it's coming to them. Like, I'm gonna lose my EBT if I lose my EBT, this is going to happen. I'm going to rob these stores. Just like the complete lack of gratitude that they're being fed by their neighbor. And I think the answer to all these things of how it went so wrong and how it got so corrupted is really why government should stay out of the welfare business completely. See, what would exist without welfare? Charity, right? People would be fed from charities. I don't believe people would starve in the United States without welfare. But there would be a big difference. You see, when somebody receives charity, they receive according to their need. Now, when someone receives welfare, they receive according to their eligibility. You are eligible for this, meaning you view it as if you are deserving of it. So somebody doesn't feel like, oh, I'm getting this from the government. Somebody doesn't feel as though they're taking it from the taxpayer. The government there's no incentive to say, hey, I'm taking from my neighbors here. I should make sure I only take as much as I need. The giver is meaning the state is incentivized for the program to grow because then that organization grows. Big corporations are incentivized to lobby to allow people to buy any food they want because they just get profits. Scams arise because people feel like, what do you mean? I have this free money, I have this free food. What's the big deal if I sell it somewhere? There's no ownership. There is no community in that loop. This is why all this wicked corruption and this abuse is born out of this. Just a complete lack of responsibility. Welfare creates lack of responsibility. Welfare is bad for people, and people say, well, people might die without that. So I don't think that's true. Like I said, I think charities would step in. More than that, I don't think the purpose of life is to continue to exist. I see these people saying, well, I don't have a job. So I need this. It's like, but what is it that you do? How do you spend your time? What are you creating? It's one thing someone says, oh, I'm an artist. I don't have any money. I hear that. I don't respect that. But more than that, people look at profit as a bad thing. Profit is a great thing. Profit is an indicator that what you are doing is valuable to other people. The best way to know if what you're doing is valuable to other people is if someone is willing to pay for it. You can get likes on Instagram and TikTok. I have plenty of likes, but no one's paid me for my content yet. So that proves that it's not bringing enough value yet. At some point, hopefully it will. But value, people paying, is an indicator that what you're doing is valuable, and you should want to do something that is making the world better. That you should devote your life to something that is making the world a better place, that is bettering humanity, that's making humanity more better off, more wealthy, more civilized, more kind, more happy. And the best way to achieve that is, the best way to know if that's working is if people are willing to pay for it. If people if obviously people are willing to pay for very destructive things. I'm not saying that's the only indicator. But what is the value you're bringing to the world? Do something. All right. I want to talk about the New York election. Firstly, I am just not convinced that Cuomo would be so much better than Mamdani. Just every cell in my body says I can't see Cuomo. I just would like to see Cuomo humiliated and lose. Cuomo deserves to never hold public office again. And he's a socialist just like Mamdani. He has slightly different policies. Maybe he's a socialist driving at the speed limit, He did not do a great job in New York. New York has continually been corrupt, overspent, has not dealt with the budget issues, has not dealt with many of the religious schools issues. Cuomo was not our friend, and COVID was the finally broke the camel's was the 100-pound bomb. It was the 100-pound anvil that broke the camel's back, and I want him to lose. And Mondani's going to be a terrible mayor. But Cuomo would have been too, and he don't think he would have housed illegals. So, but more than that, the electorate. The troubling thing about Mondani that we've had such terrible candidates is obviously that New York voters are stupid. We've mentioned this before, but if Mamdani shouldn't be elected mayor, not only because he's a socialist, doesn't know anything about economics, has terrible policies, is a rabid anti-Semite. The reason why Mamdani should not be the mayor of New York is because he has no experience at an executive position. What job in the world would hire an executive that has no experience? What kind of a crazy thing is that? And so we have shown with the Mamdani election, regardless, is that a huge percentage of the population has just no concept of what it means, does not take the job of being an electorate seriously. And that is a serious concern in an election, when the electorate just is looking at what I can get for free instead of who would be the right executive for my city. All right, that'll do it today, guys. Have a good one.